Hi, welcome to Danny Brough Show with me, Danny Brough from MMA UK. It's episode number 4. I have got Adam Shelley on, who is a multiple world champion in Taekwondo. He's moved over to the MMA world and is going pro. Unfortunately, his first debut pro fight's obviously been postponed with everything that's going on, but we talk about that. We talk about a bit of his background, what he's looking forward to in the future, and really just a good general chat with him. Hope you enjoy the show. Boom, smashed it. Hi, welcome to Danny Brough Show with me, Danny Brough from MMA UK. It's episode number 4. I'm joined with Adam Shelley. Adam, how you doing, mate? You okay?
Not bad, Danny. All good, yeah. This is a good little idea to break up some of the time of just sitting at home all day. So good to be on.
Crazy times, man. Absolutely crazy. I take it, obviously, your gym's closed now.
Yeah, everything's done over here, man. They're predicting lockdown the next couple of days. So I'm sort of just doing what I'm told now, self-isolating, trying to just do the right thing, you know.
Yeah, what gym is it you're at?
So I'm with Team KF with the lads, Chris Fields, Tom King there leading the way. All the lads like some of the Ian Gary and James Webb there with Cage Warriors, bunch of the amateur boys as well. So everyone just has a pain really, just not being able to train and stuff like that. I think everyone's just doing bits and pieces like running and doing what they can, try to stay fit. That's what I'm doing anyway. And hopefully it blows over soon enough and we'll be back to business, you know.
Yeah, I think you might be moving up a weight when it's all over.
Oh, stop. Yeah, I actually saw Darren Till had something up there the other day. Did you see that?
No, I missed that.
Yeah, it was just a big list of all the food he's eating, and like it was a picture of him like with a little belly, like and just but he's just doing the dog on it. Like I'm the same here. It's just food in the gaff all day, just eating whatever I want.
Yeah. Obviously, I saw you at Budo. When was that? That must have been,
That's
was it
right. That was
December?
7th of December. Yeah.
Yeah, and you had a nasty eye poke. I won't ever forget that, mate, because you shoved it right in my face.
Oh Jesus Christ, that was weird. I actually ended up having a fractured eye socket off that.
Joking.
Yeah, I swear to God. So like when I got home then on the Sunday, um, like I got home and the next day my eye was way worse than what it was when I was talking to you.
Yeah.
Um, I'll send you a picture actually after this. And then so my mum and dad were like, look, just go in and get checked. So I went into the Mater Hospital that's here in Dublin. And they were like, yeah, no, we're just going to x-ray it and stuff like that. Because what they were saying, so I was explaining that when I blew my nose, I had a little bit of blood in my nose after the fight.
Yeah.
And when I blew my nose, that's when it puffed out. Like that's when it
Right.
went really big. And they were like, that shouldn't happen if there's like no break. Like I didn't know either. So they did an X-ray and turns out the floor of my orbital bone, so it's sort of like just here, was fractured. So I was out of action for a little while with that. I was able to keep like doing all my own training, like running weights, hitting pads and stuff. I just couldn't take contact for I think it was 6 to 8 weeks. So about the end of January, I got back into things.
Flipping heck. But, well, obviously, hopefully, it's all right now then.
Yeah, it's fresh. Vision and all is good now, so can't complain. Training's actually been going great up to this coronavirus thing, and even still, it's actually gone not too bad. Like because of loads of time, like just getting all my sessions in, still getting 2 a day, still feeling fit. So hopefully, once it blows over, I'll be good to fight straight away.
Yeah. And obviously, think everyone knows now you're taking the step up, going pro.
That's the one, yeah. Going pro now. I've got the nod off the boss man, Chris. So that's the main thing. Actually, in that fight, the one you were talking about there in Budo in December. So we're going into the last round, going into the fifth round. Chris said, "You win this round, and you're a pro fighter." Like he was gonna push me on then, and I stopped him then in the fifth round. So that was sort of a little bit of motivation I needed.
Nice.
So got the stoppage, and then so the plan was once my eye healed up, Chris was just gonna try to get me on a show as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And the show that came up was the Olympus show on the 9th of May. Anthony Franklin does it. Anthony,
Yeah.
that's who runs that. And but then again, unfortunately, due to the current situation, the show got cancelled. But hopefully, look, I'm sure he'll have it on as soon as we're good, as soon as everything's clear, and I'll be straight back on. Same opponent. I'm easy, just get straight into it.
Yeah. Is that something you've obviously, I know you probably have always been looking to go pro anyway, but Is it something you kind of worked towards your coach? Have you been like prompting him, saying, can I go yet? Can I go yet? Or is it just a case of waiting for your coach to advise you?
At the start, so I came from like a taekwondo and kickboxing background. So when I started in MMA, to be honest, like I thought it was going to be a case of a month or two and straight into the cage, a month or two of grappling, and I'll be good to go because of my level of striking.
Yeah.
Turns out it was not that easy with everything going on. It took months, which is natural enough. So I remember at that time I was sort of like, to Chris, I was hounding him then about getting my first amateur fight. Like I was like, any fights, any fights, any fights. And he was just, I was sort of like, oh, come on, I need to fight. He waited till the time was right, put me in. And then it was only when I looked back. So when I had my first amateur fight and my first couple of amateur fights, was when I look back to the times I was thinking I wanted to fight. I was like, Jesus Christ, I would have been murdered like on the ground. I was not ready for that. So then I was like, okay. So when I was competing as an amateur, sort of in 2019, I was like, I'm not even going to be asking Chris about pro. It's whenever he
Yeah.
thinks, because he got it spot on with the amateur. I was like, he'll get it right with the pro, and I think he did. I didn't get a chance yet to show that I'm ready, but I've no doubt I am, and we'll see it at my pro debut.
Yeah, and obviously it's a shame that everything's happened. May, what we're on now for March, April, May. So you would have been 2 months, maybe 10 weeks out from getting ready for that. What do you think your plan is now? Obviously, you can't go to the gym. You keep putting your running up. Do you
Yeah,
think
keeping
it's
running. I have weights and stuff down the back of my shed. My dad like built a squat rack down there, and we have a bar and plate. So I'm keeping up a lot of strength work and stuff like that. My brother Ryan, like we've been our main training partners for years, like right through up since we're 6, 7 years of age. So we have pads and shields and stuff like that. So we've a bit of space out our back garden, thankfully. So we're doing a bit of that. So it's not the end of the world. It's not ideal session. It's not ideal in that we're not getting in with all the team out in Team KF, like getting all our positional sessions, sparring sessions, but we're making do, and hopefully when this blows over, we'll be sharp and ready to get straight back into things.
yeah? Obviously, you mentioned there just about training with your brother and that. Is it something you've always kind of both of you kind of fell into, or is it something your parents got you into, or what? What's the score with that?
Yeah, so I've an older brother as well, then Alex. So three boys, two brothers I have. So yeah, we've been in martial arts now. Next year it'll be 20 years. It was 2001 we started. Again, my dad wanted us to get into some type of boxing, kickboxing, taekwondo, whatever it was.
Yeah,
And then we were showing an interest in it, just watching all the movies and stuff like that, back in the day.
yeah,
He sourced the local club. We went from there and then never really looked back. It was just ever since then, like I've never not been training martial arts. Like I've always, even when I was a kid playing football and hurling and doing swimming or whatever else, I always had my taekwondo or kickboxing like at least once or twice a week. And then that's when it started to get serious then when I was about 15, 16.
yeah. That's good because it's pretty rare, isn't it? I mean, I'm 30. What am I? I'm 33. So when I was growing up, I only heard about MMA about maybe 5, 10 years ago. Whereas people now, for young age, it's only gonna get bigger, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's funny. I've been saying this for a while, and my brother Ryan actually only said it to me a while back that he said something that Joe Rogan said, I think, in one of his podcasts. So like, I think back in the day it was always traditional martial arts. So like there was, well, where I'm sort of from anyway, there was always like a karate club, a taekwondo club, a boxing club,
Yeah,
whatever, that sort of thing. But I think now, so what you're saying there, the last couple of years, there's MMA clubs and stuff. I think that might sort of be the future of martial arts like that.
yeah,
You won't have, oh no, that's a karate club. That's where they train karate and nothing else. Or that's
yeah,
a taekwondo club and they train taekwondo and nothing else. It's going to be like maybe a striking gym
yeah,
or a grappling gym where they train judo, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, whatever it is, or that even still an MMA gym where everything is under the one roof. They've got their different coaches, and you can learn all the arts under the one roof. That's what I'd like to see anyway, and I do think that's where it's going.
yeah. It makes sense. Like I say, you don't see many like goalkeeping clubs or striker clubs or left
That's
winger
it,
clubs. You
exactly.
need to just get it all under one roof, and then I think the country will grow in general if we get onto that sooner
Yeah,
rather than later.
yeah. But even like I can see it now. So I obviously still keep in touch with like taekwondo and stuff like that. That's where I came from, and I teach my own taekwondo club now. And again,
Nice.
it's a taekwondo club, but I've named it. So the area I'm from is Whitehall. It's Whitehall Martial Arts because like we do, whether I like it or not, we incorporate methods from kickboxing, from boxing, like from sport karate into the taekwondo. Into the taekwondo sparring. So it's very rare now. I think you can maybe look at a taekwondo fighter or a kickboxer and say that, oh no, he's a kickboxer, he's a taekwondo fighter. The styles are so blurred now.
Yeah.
I think it's good. It's great for the standard and stuff like that. Everyone's dipping into each art and taking out bits and pieces, and I just think the standard is just going up and up from it, and it's great to see.
Yeah, it needs to happen. I mean, predominantly people are going for self-defense as well. A lot of like parents will be thinking get the kids in it, like say boxing or taekwondo, but the actual reason is a bit of self-defense. And if you only know one form of martial art, and like I say, there's people who are training all four or five of them, then you're not going to stand a
That's
chance,
it.
are you? You've got to incorporate it.
Yeah, everything's got its strengths and weaknesses, like, each art. And I've had experience of training a lot of the different martial arts now, and I've experienced the strengths and weaknesses of each one. So, like, for example, before I started doing any type of grappling, like, I've never really done any ground fighting. So if I found myself in a situation on the street where a lad who plays rugby and he's 100 kilos throws me on the ground and starts thumping the head off me, like, I wasn't really going to be able to do much. Like, all my
Yeah.
spinning back kicks and everything I like to do is sort of gone out the window there. Like, so that's even helped me confidence wise and stuff like that from a self defense point of view. That now I have a level of jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and that in a self defense situation I can sort of handle myself wherever it goes. Like.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking about spinning back kicks, hashtag spin. Is it hashtag spinning shit?
Spinny shit. Yeah, I have to credit Ian for that. He came up with that, Ian Gary. So yeah, we like our spinny shit, So again, it's something new. Like, a lot of people don't really use it that much. It's becoming more popular. And like it's actually funny that when I was competing in taekwondo and kickboxing, like I wouldn't have been really known for my spinning stuff there. I think because it's so common, it's like, everyone can sort of do it. So I would have been much more known for like my front leg and even my hands. Um, and now that I'm sort of gone into MMA, now I'm actually reverting back to all that spinning stuff. The stuff that I was like, oh geez, I'm actually all right at this stuff, but I just never
Yeah.
really used it in taekwondo. Like I didn't really have to, and I didn't really like it. So, but now it's working really well in MMA, and like when I had a few K1 fights, it's working a treat there. So you're gonna see some good stuff now once I turn pro, and looking forward to that.
Well, like I say, if it works, and why not use it? I don't think even people were using front kicks for
That's
years in
it.
the early days.
Yeah, yeah. I actually saw there the other night. Did you watch Cage Warriors last night?
Yeah, I watched it last night. Yeah,
Yeah, Mason Jones was throwing a few spinning back kicks and stuff like that against Joe.
yeah.
And like there are other people trying to, obviously you have Barboza and stuff in the UFC likes to throw it a lot, like, but I think people are starting to cop on, and there's going to be more and more people doing it for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, you're not going to be doing much to our training now, but when you do, are you more of a sparrer? Are you a strong believer in sparrer, or do you not really like to get the full contact?
I do like to spar. Now out in KF and stuff there, we don't like box the head off each other, like, but we get our proper rounds in like once a week minimum, and then even during the week, then we'd be doing like kickboxing rounds and obviously your jiu-jitsu rounds and stuff. But I love even just doing and I'm a big believer in this, and I find it works for me. Like even just flow rounds of sparring, where like, all right, it's not 100%, we're not absolutely leathering each other, but it's free and just doing like round after round, just trying stuff out and making mistakes, like trying stuff, and then you start to learn different pathways then to things. So it's something I did in striking for years, and I'm trying to do it now in grappling. Chris encourages a lot. Like he just goes, just start figuring out your own pathways to, let's say you like I don't know, let's say like a guillotine, like start playing around with how you're going to get there, jumping on it in different positions. So I'm doing that more and more now, and it's helping my grappling. So
Yeah,
see how
and
how it keeps going.
obviously you need to have a good team around you to do that as well, because if you've got there's a lot of level of trust in that. If you know you're going to be going at 60-70%, and then some idiot comes in trying to knock your head off it, you're not going to be too pleased about it.
That's it. Now, at the same time, like, if anybody is, let's say, at that carry on where it's not supposed to be full on, and somebody comes in swinging, everyone is well within their rights and they're told to clip them back, like, you know, it's like, 'cause you can't be at that, like, you know, especially with the small gloves, like, you know, if you have them small gloves on and
Yeah.
maybe you're trying to work on something or you're trying, and let's say somebody comes in bombing, like, you know, they deserve to be clipped around the chin for that one anyway, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Do you and your brother ever get a bit too deep
Ah,
into it?
course. Yeah, it's been happening for years. Um, like it'll be just, and again, I think it happens nearly from nearly a lack of communication. Like, you know, let's say if I don't know, could have done leg day the day before, my legs are sore, and I'm starting to spar him, and in my head, I want to go light. Let's say it's like, all right, I'm just gonna sort of take it easy around here. And let's say in his head he's like, nah, I'm up for it tonight. I'm gonna go sort of go nice and hard, and then I get thick or whatever. But it's all good. It's we'll always touch up after, and it's grand, and we'll discuss our spars and we give each other feedback, and so yeah, it's a bit of crack though.
Yeah, it must be great having a brother like you say, doing the
Yeah,
same as you
yeah.
and both working with each other because you know it's part of your life and you got someone close to you as well. So even when you're not in the gym and you're at home, it must make a big difference to having someone like that with you.
Definitely, yeah. Like we know each other so well, and like from a fighting aspect, like I'd nearly, if I'm watching his fights, like I'd know what he's gonna throw before he does. Like, you know, you can nearly just tell by the way he's standing. And he's the same with me, and so it's good that way. Like that when we're doing, let's say, fight reviews or we have a fight and we're looking back, we can say, "Oh, do you remember you always used to throw this type of shot?" Like it might have been 3 years ago, so maybe you need to start bringing that back in. And so it's nice to have that even on top of them what we're getting off the likes of Chris and stuff. Like it's cool that way. My dad as well is really interested. Like my dad, what he traveled the world with us for years when we were doing taekwondo and kickboxing, and he still watches all our fight. And he has a really good brain for it. Although he did boxing when he was a kid, but he never actually did anything else. But there's times like, and he knows the sport just from watching it for so long. So he'll
Yeah.
actually have a good input on what should be done in a particular situation. So we always like to include him when we're watching back videos and stuff. And then he tells you what you need to hear, what not what you want to hear. So that always helps.
Yeah. So what made you do the transition from going from Taekwondo to MMA? Did you both do it together at the same time or?
Yeah, we did it together. We both won the world championships in 2017, and that was my second one to win. In my second worlds, it was his first, and we had won the Europeans that year as well, along with a rake of other stuff. And we just decided, like we still, like I said, I'm teaching a taekwondo club, trying to bring the next generation through. Still very much involved with it, but from a competitive point of view ourselves, MMA was starting to really boom onto the scene here with Conor McGregor and stuff. It's all anybody was talking about, like all our mates and stuff. So we are sort of going, hold on a minute, like, you know, let's get in on this. It seems to be the in thing at the moment. And really fancied myself in the striking department. Like when I was watching other lads in MMA, like I'd consider myself better than them when I was watching. So it's
Yeah.
like, right, so I can learn this grappling side of things. Like we should be able to make a good stab at it. So yeah, 2 years later, here we are. Me about to turn pro. Ryan is just has to finish out college. He'll be finished in May, and he'll be turning pro then too. And we'll see what happens from there.
Nice. You doing much BJJ as well?
Yeah, and like we have Tom King out there in KF, like, and he's a wizard at the jiu-jitsu, you know. So it's great to pick his brain about things. And there's a lot of serious grapplers out there, so we love just immersing ourselves in that. And then even from a non-competitive point of view, of course, we have to learn it. Like I actually really enjoyed and still enjoy like being a white belt again and starting from scratch and like you know just leaving everything else at the door and learning new martial art. It's been very, very enjoyable, like, you know, and it helps me then I find in my teaching when I'm teaching up on my own taekwondo club, like with the kids, like it's, I remember what it's like to not have a clue what's going on. Like
Yeah.
it's so long since I learned all that stuff. It's like I said, it's nearly 20 years. So it's great to sort of be like, oh yeah, well, this is what it's like to be really stuck or whatever, and helps me break things down when I'm trying to teach. And so it's positives every way, like, you know.
Yeah, like I say, you'll be learning stuff every week anyway. It don't matter how long you've been doing it. There's always something new to learn, isn't there?
Do you do a bit of training in jiu-jitsu?
No, I've not. I'm gonna be starting doing.
Ah, you should. Yeah, deadly.
I know, yeah. Well, I've always had trouble with my weight. I've always been proper scrawny, proper thin guy. So I've never been confident enough to actually go and do anything. But for the
Okay.
last year, I've been working on it, and I'm at a decent weight now. I've not actually got any excuses. I used to work away for 7 years, So
Did you?
even if
Yeah, where were you working?
I'm electrician, so I used to cover the UK,
Oh,
Scotland,
deadly,
England,
yeah, yeah.
Ireland, Northern Ireland, literally about 7, 8 years. So even if I wanted to, you can't do it. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't commit any time, but since I've been doing this with MMA UK, it's like, oh, gotta start getting in there now. Do you know what I mean?
That's it, and I'd say it'll be a lot like it'll be really enjoyable for you then as well. Like if so, when you're watching fights or you're starting to watch particular fighters, like if you know what you're looking at, and then like you'll be able to feel it out yourself in your training, and I'd say it'll make it really interesting for you. Like so, I'd encourage you to
Yeah,
do it. Savage.
yeah, definitely be doing it. Like that Budo I saw you. That was my first post fight interview. Do you know what I
Was
mean?
it?
Yeah,
No
yeah.
way. I didn't know that. Well, geez, you didn't seem that way anyway. It seemed
Yeah,
natural enough. So,
yeah. First time at an amateur event. I literally
oh
discovered
Jesus.
UFC about 5 years ago maybe. I literally got hooked. It was Anderson Silva against Bisping. My first thing
Oh
got to
yeah,
watch. So
that's some fight. That's a good
exactly,
fight to get you hooked.
exactly.
That's class. Yeah,
Literally
yeah.
not missed a UFC event live since that.
Have you
Fight
not? No.
nights, main nights, every single one. Stay up watching them. I used to work nights as well, so it's kind of like normal time for me.
What's
And
your favorite fight since starting to watch?
what's that? Sorry.
What's your favorite fight since starting to watch it, or in the last 5 years?
Gotta be Anderson Silva Bisping for me.
Still your favorite? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it got me into it, but I'm surprised. That Budo was my first amateur event. So since that, I've not hardly watched UFC because I'm proper into this local amateur stuff now.
Ah, yeah, yeah. That's
Or not
true.
even the amateur, even the pros as well. It's all new
Yeah,
to me. It's not really something advertised. Loads of people I know still asking me what MMA stands for. Do you know what I mean?
really. Yeah.
So now I'm getting into the actual like UK world of it. I'm absolutely
Good.
loving it. I've not got time for the UFC now. I'm just loving watching all the local stuff.
That's it. Yeah, and you'll be able to say when the lads make it big, then you'll be able to say you're watching them from the start. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that's it. Yeah, that's class. For me, I watched Cody Garbrandt and Dominic Cruz today. I hadn't seen that fight in a long time, but
Nice.
from it's probably one of the best performances in the UFC for
That
me.
was an
From
amazing fight.
Cody. Ah, Jesus, Cody didn't put a foot wrong for the whole fight. Like he
Uh,
was unbelievable. And then to do it against an opponent like Dominic Cruz was savage. But yeah, it was good to watch that back. A few little points. His hands were unreal. Like so, I'd like to watch that. Take
some of
it.
the stuff he was doing, you couldn't even make it up, could you? Started doing some dancing in there and everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He made a show of him. Like, and I like Cruz. I like the two of them as fighters. Like, and but he upped to the level there. He really got into his groove. Like, it was good to see that.
Yeah, shame he couldn't do the same against Dillashaw, but
That's the thing. I think his emotions get the better of him then in some of his fights. Like, he just starts swinging, like, which is obviously it's a skill itself, being able to control the emotional side. And
yeah.
maybe if he gets that back, who knows what he'll be able to do, but something you should try and address for sure.
Yeah, that's another thing I think I'd be worried about. Like I say, you got to try and stay cool. If someone hits you, it's like I say, it's one thing being it. It's another thing being able to not lose your temper, I suppose, because you're just not going to get anywhere, are you?
Exactly. Against a good fighter, you'll be exposed big time. You'll get clipped again. So yeah, it's just about sort of holding yourself and keep your composure and wait for your moment. And if you really want to get back at them, do it then when the time is right. But until then, be smart, be calculated. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you do any meditation or anything like that, or
Not really,
psychology, sports
actually.
psychology?
Not like I did sports science in college, so like we had one or two modules of sports psychology in that. So like I do like visualization and stuff when I have a fight coming up. I like especially in the fight week and maybe even the week before. Like I just try to visualize from the day from waking up to going to the venue, like just hanging around the dressing room, starting to put my gear on, warming up, walking out, and then the fight itself. But not no meditation or anything like that. I know a lot of people do what's it called, Headspace and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they get these apps. To be honest, it's just something I've never tried. I wouldn't rule it out at all. Like because sometimes I can be like I'd be busy enough with running the club and when I was in college and stuff like that. So I'd often get like sort of not much stress, but like a lot of things be getting on top. Like so,
Yeah.
it'd be no harm to try some of that and see if it worked anyway.
Yeah, I fancy doing one of them isolation chambers and that, but I don't think there's any near me for doing that stuff.
Is that the flow therapy thing? Is that
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, noticing loads of people doing that again. Like sometimes like I like to talk as well, like, so just sitting for an hour on my own, I probably start to crack up, like, but
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
I
I'm
know,
cracking
yeah.
up.
Yeah, you just want to just have a chat with someone. So, but no, I wouldn't rule it out again. Like, and just try it as a method of recovery. Like, for at the moment for recovery, like I don't implement any special methods. I sort of just like recover well in terms of eat well, hydrate, like take my rest days when appropriate. But I don't sort of do like any ice baths or anything like that. A lot of the evidence on them, it's like a lot of it is like just psychological and placebo effect. That's what I've heard anyway. Like there's very little concrete scientific evidence on any of that stuff. But I suppose even if the placebo effect works, if you feel great after doing a float or after doing an ice bath, keep doing it. Like
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely. What was your favorite fight from last night? Cage Warriors.
I liked the funky shorts with
Stephen Mabel.
Stephen
Is that how
Amiable.
you?
Yeah,
Amiable, is it? How do you say his name?
Amiable. Yeah,
Amiable.
Steve Amiable.
I thought he was robbed.
Yeah, I think he should have had that. I think it was
Yeah,
29
for sure.
28 to him for definite. But it was a
Definitely.
great
Yeah.
fight.
It was a very good fight. It was probably actually fight of the night.
Yeah.
Or else, Darren O'Gorman, and who was your man he fought? What's his name again?
Oh, mate, don't pick me on
James.
names. I'm rubbish with names. I'm in the wrong
James
wrong
somebody.
game.
Yeah, red haired fella.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I can't remember
so
his
that was a
name,
brilliant fight.
but
Brilliant
he
way to come back as well.
got out of that triangle.
I'm gonna get his name up now. I feel bad for being. I'm so rubbish with names, mate. I'm in the wrong job. Really am.
I know his second name begins with E, and his first name could be James. That's all I know. I'm not 100% sure.
But
Yeah, but
I can't believe he got the win out of that because his
yeah,
numbers were done with, weren't they?
yeah, I know. Yeah, to be like here, I'm no expert on jiu-jitsu, but like, and even I was chatting to a few lads from the club as well. But I thought he should have just been trying to make the angle. Like, he should have been underhooking your man's leg and making the angle and get a squeeze on it. But
I
he
was
did.
tapping
He,
for him for one of them arm
he
bars.
seemed to be wanting to go for the armbar, yeah. But fair play to your man for landing that peach of a shot in the third round. Anyway, he was some going.
Yeah, there was he wasn't getting up from that. Referee did a good job stopping him as well.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Well, that's a good point. Obviously, you have views when referees are stopping it and all that. When you're actually in there, what's your take? I'm guessing you're not bothered whether the referee wants to stop you or not. But when you look back, are you thinking, there's more to life than getting the W?
Yeah, well, like in my last fight, I thought the ref was he was very like a bit lean. Like I was pounding your man for most of the fight, and especially at the end of the second round at one stage, I was in mount and I was landing like big shots and a lot of shots, and the ref didn't stop it. Like that guy I fought, he took damage in that fight. Like now, like I'm sure he's all right now and stuff. But at the time, now this was me personally. Like the, I don't really think about should the ref be stopping it or not. Like it's just like a bit of a killer instinct, like And I think if you haven't really got that, you're in a little bit of bother. So for me, it was just go more and more until the ref did eventually stop it. In my fight before that, then I caught the guy with a head kick and he fell, and it was just a case of like two hammer fists, and the ref was straight in. Had a feeling he would be, but yeah, I don't really think about it too much, to be honest with you.
Yeah, just go with the flow.
Just keep going, like you have
I'm,
to.
I'm surprised they didn't stop you with your eye, to be honest. 'Cause that was bad as well, but
Yeah, that was
you
bad.
you
Like
got through it.
luckily, yeah. That's I remember at one stage Chris was like
Thumbs
roaring
cut.
at me just to try like keep it open or whatever, just so it wouldn't be stopped or whatever. But yeah, I was lucky in that sense. But thankfully, everything turned out all right. Got the win. Just on to the next one now, like whenever it'll be.
Yeah, yeah. So do you travel quite a lot still, I take it, then? Just going wherever the fights are, pretty much?
Yeah, go wherever the fights are. Like again, I'll just wherever Chris has a lot of contacts and stuff in Ireland and the UK. So wherever he gets us matched, we'll go. Like I like the traveling ones in the sense that like if I see myself in the UFC one day and stuff, and the majority of all your fights there, you're gonna have to travel for. unless you're obviously lucky and it comes back to Ireland or whatever. But that's once in a blue moon. So I sort of like to get used to just the whole formality of turning up to the airport while you're cutting weight and being in a hotel room and having to manage your nutrition and hydration out of a hotel room and stuff like that. And again, it's something I did when I was competing in the taekwondo and kickboxing, like competing everywhere around the world. So I am sort of used to it. Now, so that side of it's good, but in saying that, nothing like sort of just jumping in your car on Saturday morning, drive up north, have a fight, and come home. Like, right? And you're in your own bed both nights, the night before and the night after. Like, that's sort of good as well. But realistically, it's not where I want to end up. Like, I want to see myself fighting abroad and over the States. Like, that's the goal. And so it's good to get used to that now at the early level.
Yeah, with you saying, if you see yourself being in UFC, have you already kind of got a bit of a path or even put your map out on how you want to get there?
Yeah, so like Cage Warriors route for sure. Like that at the moment from me looking in, it just seems the most honest route, the most proven route, the sort of just the best route to go and test you the best. So that's the route I would like to go. And but in terms of like me sort of on what I'm visualizing now and stuff, my goals, like of course, so my end goal is yeah, all right, let's say it's UFC champion. It is like everybody's is, but I don't really think about that much at the moment. I try not really think about the UFC because I can't even really begin yet to, not that I can't begin to visualize it, but like I don't really know the goings on of the UFC, what it's like on fight week and the running of it. But for Cage Warriors, I see Ian Gary and I see James Webb. I've been with them in their fight weeks. I've been over to loads of the Cage Warriors shows. So like that's that for me, that's I have to get there first before I even start thinking about kickboxing rounds. And obviously, you're get the Cage Warriors, win that belt, and then I'll start worrying about UFC. Like that's going to be a task in itself. And but I can really visualize that happening because I see the fighters there on Cage Warriors. I see what happens in fight week. I see how the promotion is run. So for me, that's the goal. Get there as soon as possible. Get the strap, UFC.
Nice. Do you think there's anyone in Cage Warriors at the minute that might that's going to be a real big challenge to you? Obviously, everyone's a challenge. I know everyone will say I can beat everyone, but everyone is a challenge. It's still 50-50 when you get in there. Is there anyone that you can see that might be the biggest challenge for you at the moment?
Like in the lightweight division, like it is good at the moment, but like none of them lads, like even from last, like I had huge eyes on the show last night. Like the top four, what sort of the top four lads in the group, maybe taking Desmay out of it. Like I know he wasn't on last night, but they were four good lightweights on the show last night. And like there was none of them that I was watching that I was like, oh, like I'd have real problems with them or anything, or I'd really struggle with that aspect. Like all of them, I would consider myself to be a better striker than. And then I suppose Paddy's grappling is fairly good, like So give me a bit more time there, and I've no doubt like all them lads I would be able to beat eventually. Like I said, they're all good lads, they're solid lads, but there's nobody where I'm like, oh Jesus, I'd be really stuck with them. It
Yeah.
can be comfortable enough, and especially give me another year, and easily, yeah, for sure, I'd be comfortable against them all. I think.
So I might be seeing you in Cage Warriors pro event next year if we're lucky. Maybe the year
Hopefully,
after.
yeah. Like maybe even so this year. I know it's a bit fecked now with all the coronavirus and stuff, but like I had my eye on all the Irish shows. Like I suppose the plan for me, like would have been fighting Olympus and maybe something else if I had to, and then be getting on that Cage Warriors Cork show in July or Cage Warriors in Belfast, in September. But like I said, it's all a bit up in the air at the moment. So all I can sort of do is keep training and be ready when the time comes. But definitely the goal would be to be on a Cage Warriors show this year, and then big year next year, and I'm sure the belt would come soon enough after that. But like I said, I'll focus on getting to the promotion first before I start talking shit or calling people out. Yeah, that's I never really got that, and I never like somebody right down the bottom of the ladder calling out for the lads at the top. Like it's fairly pointless. Like I
Yeah.
have to just be whoever's put in front of me at the moment, build my record up, get a bit of stock to me, and then I could talk about calling out the other lads. But until then, I'll sort of just bide my time.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it because, like you say, you don't want to you don't want to look like a dickhead either, do you? Do you know what I mean?
Like it's just a bit stupid, like But like I said, I do keep an eye on the top end of the division because that's where I like to see myself going. So it's good just to watch it and see who's there, see what they're doing, see what the styles are, because who's to know? Some of them might be moved on by the time I get there. Some of them could be still around if injuries or whatever debilitated them. So no harm to start just planning for that,
Yeah. So obviously,
Yeah.
James Webb saw James Webb a couple of weeks ago. A nice win against Stanton. Does
Yeah, big,
that give a big
wasn't it?
boost to the gym?
Ah, yeah, yeah. Do you know what? The atmosphere in that gym, it's special, and I've been around a lot of gyms through taekwondo, kickboxing, and I'm actually very lucky in that the club I trained with in taekwondo and then the club I trained with in kickboxing had a very similar atmosphere to it, and I do think that's why I was successful in both them sports, and that's why I think I'll be successful in MMA because you just not when like I love going to training. I love going to training, hanging with the lads. Like even if I'm injured or if I can't train, I'll still just go out and watch,
Yeah.
because number one, I pick things up from Chris or Tom demonstrating, and number two, it's a bit of crack just seeing the lads and stuff. But yeah, like when James won last week, for example, like everyone just straight into the group. Well done, James. Everyone just really buzzing for him, and just seeing pushing on because realistically, like James leading from the front as well. Like he's the highest he's competing at the highest level out of the group. So he's leading the way.
Yeah.
Well then again, Chris is coming back now. So Chris is up there with him. The two of them just leading from the front. So it's great to have it, them leading by example, training alongside them, seeing what it requires to reach that level. So all we have to do is go and do it. We have the easy job, me
Yeah.
and the rest of the lads. They're paving the way. We just have to keep the head down and get the job done.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm very surprised. Obviously, I'm recent into this world of MMA now. I'm really surprised at how humble and genuine everyone seems to be. Because
Yeah,
before it all, you kind of think, oh, it's going to be full of thugs, load of rough and ready lads who are just knobheads, to put bluntly. And I'll tell you what, I've generally not met one knobhead yet. Like everywhere I've been, but it's really nice to see that it's just genuine people.
that's it. And like, whenever I be talking to people, it could be family, it could be other people, like who I'm just telling them about what I do, or they ask me what I do, and I say MMA. Like a lot of the time, the reaction is, "Oh, and sort of what are you involved in that type of stuff for?" But like,
Yeah.
I'm always very quick to tell them and to explain to them that, like, literally, you couldn't meet nicer people. That's my opinion, anyway. And like that with you, like what you were saying there, out in Team KF, I haven't met anyone who I'm like, I don't like when they're around or whatever. Like everyone is
Yeah.
just dead on. It's savage. But everyone most people now just seem to want to get down, train, fight, and that's it. Just down to earth people.
Yeah, it's really good. And like I say, I think maybe because it is a martial arts background and martial arts predominantly is very about respect and teaches you all them other disciplines as well. So maybe that's part of it as well. Do you know what I
It
mean?
comes. I notice this when I look at. I wouldn't know many of the gyms in the UK. Well, I know some of the lads over there, and I know some gyms. But when I look around the gyms in Ireland, it seems to come from the top down in gyms. So when you look at the coach, when you look at the fighters, you'll normally get a reflection of their coach, and vice versa. When you look at the coach, it will reflect their fighters. Like I know, like I said, in Team KF and in my kickboxing taekwondo gyms, like the coaches, Chris, Tom, Robbie, is who I trained with in kickboxing, and Niall Jones in taekwondo, like they just didn't take shit. If anybody stepped out of line, uh, put something up online that they shouldn't have, like you get a phone call straight away being like, take that down or whatever. And
Yeah.
so because you are representing them at the end of the day. So I think it's important for them that everyone's sort of playing by the rules and acting accordingly, because it's their gym that's on the line, their reputation of their gym, you know.
Yeah.
It's great to see, like.
So what do you think is going to be coming up for James next? If you obviously I don't want you to say anything you shouldn't be saying, like, but
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't been speaking to James. About I haven't seen him since with all this coronavirus stuff. But just off me personally, you have to just get another go at the title if you wanted it. I would say. I don't know what the story is. Suppose like isn't Matthias? He's supposed to be fighting in April,
Yeah, well,
but
should have been. Yeah,
probably won't be happening at this stage. So I would say if Matthias had a won, that would be what his first title defense, depending on whether he got signed or not. If he did get signed to the UFC, it would have to be James and the next person fighting for that belt. And if he didn't, then James would definitely be in line for the trilogy then. Because again, in my opinion, James won the first fight between him and that. Like the look back on it, like the control and everything, like that's not me being biased. I did think James won that fight, and then obviously Matthias clearly won the second fight. So a trilogy, I think, is on the table.
do you ever get
People
to
say
speak
is
to
not
many
going to get there, jumping on it in different.
to try and get a grasp of what they're looking for?
Not really. Chris does talk to them the odd time, and he feeds it back to us. But like, I think the general consensus seems to be, and whenever even I hear people talking about it, I think it nearly varies from like promotion to promotion in terms of
Yeah,
what they're scoring, and because I'd often look at a fight, let's say in Cage Warriors, and a decision will go one way, and then you see it in the UFC, and a similar scenario might have played out and it'll go the other way.
yeah,
Like I think the way it is at the moment, the scoring is quite subjective. Like so, there's not a sort of proper criteria. So that stuff is going to happen.
yeah,
It's natural enough for it to happen. I know a lot of people are calling for the scoring system to be changed, but personally, I actually don't really see a problem with it. I don't think if I think if they go trying to change it too much, um, it could really turn it into a sport, that type of thing,
yeah.
and it could really just change it up a bit. I think at the moment it's a fight, leave it that way, and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you think the judges who come and speak to you, like sometimes you have the referees come and speak to you before the fight and, give you their take, what they want you to do, what they don't want you to do. Might be an idea of them for the judges to come in and just be like, look, this is what we're looking for. But I suppose it just gets too confusing then, doesn't it? Because at the end of the day, you don't want to leave it to the judges, do you?
So yeah, the plan is go in there, finish the person, and get out. Like, but obviously, then when you have two really evenly matched guys or whatever, two high level guys, of course there are going to be decisions, especially in a 3-5, especially an amateur 3-3s. Like you've
Yeah,
only 9 minutes. Then you go to pro, all right, you've more, you 15 minutes. Um, but yeah, some of them lads, obviously, if two guys know each other really well, it might be a little bit of a stalemate, and it is going to go to the judges. So I suppose everybody does have to be on the same page
yeah,
as to who gets it. And then I suppose isn't there the other thing that like if a judge, like me personally, I could be watching a fight alongside one of the lads in the gym who's a grappler, and we could be watching a particular fight, and I'll be favouring the striker because I'm a striker, like and
yeah,
that's my background, and
yeah,
he'll be favouring the grappler because that's what he prefers. So there's always going to be that aspect to it too. Maybe your own background as a judge is going to determine what you're sort of leaning towards or what you're looking towards. And that's just part of the game. I think just gonna have to get
yeah.
on with that.
Something you got to get on with. Obviously, with you going pro now, what are apart from the level of competition, what are the main changes for you going pro? I know elbows.
Elbows, knees to the head, um, 3 5-minute rounds, 4 ounce gloves. Is there anything else?
I think foot stomps. I don't think you can do foot stomps, can you, in amateur?
See, this is a grey area, I think, because I remember when I fought. When did I fight? It would have been March last year. It was on the. It was on a Cage Warriors card. I fought with Marcus Lewis, and he I won one of the fights, he won one of the fights, and like he foot stamped me to bits. I couldn't walk for a few days after, and I was like, "That's a great tactic." Like it. So I start like in the gym. Obviously, I don't stamp a lad's feet. I stamp the floor, like just
Yeah.
sort of drilling it into my head. So in my last fight, then the one in Budo, so I had your man
Was it
looking at.
that? That's the one where I forgot it was you. I remember seeing recently you were told not to do it.
Yeah, so I started stamping the feet, and the ref shouted at me saying no foot stamps. But I've definitely seen it. Like I said, it happened to me in one of
Yeah.
my fights, and like I remember during the fight, I had one of them little light bulb moments. I was like, "Fuck!" I was like, "Foot stamps are good. Like I'm gonna start doing these more," because I was getting pounded by by the foot stamps.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's something that I have seen in some amateur fights, and then so when I was doing that, and the ref told me not to do it, I was a bit like, "What?" But look, pro now, I'll definitely be using them because they're very effective. It makes you move when you don't want to move.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, foot stamps, elbows, knees to the head, 3 5-minute rounds, and 4 ounce gloves. So there's a few little adjustments. I've already started incorporating like some flying knees and elbows and stuff like that on pads. So it'll be nice to see if they come out. Grappling in the 4-ounce gloves is a little bit different. Actually, haven't really started doing that yet. I must start. And then my conditioning, like I've just sort of my condition in my last fight was pretty good for the 5-3s. So I've just sort of just constantly, the way I look at conditioning, it should always be getting better. Like, should always be just pushing up and up and up. So I'm sure I'll be in great shape come the time when I have to do the 3-5s. See what happens.
Might see some hashtag flying shit.
There'll be flying shit and spinny shit. Yeah, there'll be a bit of everything. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's cool. It just adds in that extra, making it just closer and closer to a fight. Like, it's great. I think it's cool. Like, and just what I love as well. So for years fighting in martial arts like kickboxing, taekwondo stuff, like there's a lot of rules in them arts, like a lot of rules, like you can't kick below the waist or you can't kick the back. There's just a lot of rules. So like I think the idea of two people going in there with, of course there are rules in MMA, but with limited rules, not as much rules, and both people just trying to implement their game plans and seeing what works is great. Like, I love that because, a lot of people I think are often like, like they love to see the skillful guys win out and skill will always be strength. Like it's not always that way. Like, and that's me I would consider myself to be a skillful fighter and use that approach. But like I love then the challenge of going in there against a lad who might only be training for 2 years and he's got a bomb of an overhand right on him, but that's it. And I have to overcome that. Like, and like on paper, it should be like, the skillful black belt in a martial art will win. That's what's supposed to happen. But it doesn't always go that way. Look in the UFC, you see lads sort of going in there sometimes with bellies on them and they just chin someone. Like, just with what's his name? Derek Lewis. Like he's, like, do you ever see him? Like, if you're to, the whole sort of perception of martial arts is that he shouldn't be winning. It's all about skill and technique.
Yeah.
And like I said, I love that. But then I love the idea of no, a banger can go in there and just take you off the map with an overhand right. And that's the way it is. So you've to then really show your skills. If your skills are really good, then yeah, you will be able to beat them. So that's what it's about. It's not just about using your skills in a competition where there's loads of rules. It's about using your skills where everything's off the table. Like the gloves are off, in you go, your skills and see how effective they are. So that's what I like.
Yeah. And like I say, with you mentioning Lewis, and he's actually having to start to implement other things. You can see he's working on other stuff because once people know that, that's not all you've got, but that's your main weapon of choice, you've got to adapt anyway, regardless how good you are at it.
That's it, exactly. Like, it's all about we always try going from fight to fight, always adding stuff to your toolbox, like, while making what you have better. I suppose that's just the path everyone's on, isn't it? And then just see what happens and then fights and just go out and do your thing.
Yeah. Do you do much prep work on the people, on your opponents? Is that something you work a lot on, or?
Not so much. Chris will do a little bit of video analysis and give me a little breakdown. But because like when I'd have been fighting in like sort of open competitions and stuff like that with taekwondo and kickboxing, like
you don't know who your opponent is, do you?
Be going into a competition and to be 50, 60 people in the group, and you find out 2 days before who you've drawn, and like it could be somebody that you've come up against 3 times before, could be somebody who you've never heard of. They could end up being shit. They could end up being brilliant. So I'm sort of quite used to sort of just being very confident in my own game plans and my own skill set, and having them sort of so well prepared, then I can adapt them to whatever's put in front of me. So grappler, wrestler, boxer, anybody, I'm confident. Like, that's what I'm always striving for.
Nice. So how do you keep the confidence up then? Because obviously you can't be 100% confident all of the time. So what do you do to kind of like psych yourself up at the times where you might not just be feeling it in that moment?
I suppose for me, there's always doubts. The doubts will always creep in. Like, have you done enough or whatever it is, or will it, how this go? When that sort of happened to me, I just sort of go, look, I'm sitting here in the dressing room. The fight's going to happen in half an hour. We'll see what happens when I get out there. Like, there's no point in fretting about it now or thinking about, oh, well, now if he comes out and does this, like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen now in 20 minutes. It's all
Yeah.
gonna unfold, and we'll just figure it out. Like, that's, I do like to do that, because I've seen people and heard of people, like, in whatever discipline of fighting it is, and there's a lot of, oh no, if he does this, I'm gonna do that, and if he does this, and but oh yeah, no, I seen this last fight, he does this. Like, the truth is, you just don't know. Like, you just don't really know. The person could throw a complete curveball at you. So that's why I don't like to look too much detail into the videos. Have a little overview by all means of, yeah, he likes to do this, he likes to do that, but nothing too detailed. And then, like I said, as soon as the ref says fight, it's game on. Figure it out from there.
Yeah, there's no point of trying to figure out the chess game without actually being in there, is it? Until you're playing it.
Exactly. Like, you can make all the predictions you want about what might happen, and I think then if you go in there, like in school, let's say over the years, I would have heard of this happen to lads, like they just prepared for one particular, I don't know, if you're in English or something like that, a poet to come up or something, or a particular
Yeah.
question, and then when that doesn't come up, they're going mad, because that's all they prepared for. Whereas the person who sort of gets a bit prepared on each one, they're sort of ready for whatever comes up then, like, so I like to sort of think of fighting that way, is try be prepared as well as you can for whatever, and then just deal with that when it comes out, because it's fighting at the end of the day. There's always going to be curveballs. Supposed to be.
Yeah, probably the best way of looking at it, isn't it?
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, but what do you think of Tony and Khabib? What's going to happen there?
Destiny to never happen, mate.
Horrible, isn't
Never
it?
happen. It's just not happening.
I know.
Don't know
Is it
what they're gonna do.
has it been cancelled for sure? Like, is it definitely cancelled, or?
I think the event venue where we were supposed to be doing it, I think Babe said it can't go ahead, but I don't think Dana's come out and said it's not cancelled. Said it's cancelled, so I don't know. I think we're probably gonna try and make it happen, won't we? Even if it's
I
on a
saw.
boat somewhere.
Yeah, I saw Dana had that picture up there a while ago of, like, it was like a cage on the moon or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, and again, like, that fight for me has everybody's interest. Like, it's the
Yeah.
most anticipated fight in MMA history. But like, for me, it is the two best lightweights in the world. Like, ever. Yeah, ever. Like, to two best, and like, they're going at it, like, so it's going to be savage. Like, I think I am leaning towards Khabib. I used to be saying Tony. I used to think Tony, but nah, I think it's going to be Khabib.
I think I was surprised at how well Khabib dominated Conor as well.
Oh yeah.
It's just like we say styles might make fights, or certain styles can't beat other styles, but Khabib's just made it. He's proven time and again, hasn't he, that he's going to take something special to get through it.
He has, yeah. And if even in the Quinta fight and in the Conor fight, and I think in a few of his other fights, like, he does, like, take sort of that third round off to try strike with the other person. Like, he likes the fact, like, I think I'm convinced he's just showing everyone, look, I can strike too. I
Yeah,
know on the judges' scorecards, Conor won the third round, but
yeah,
like, I definitely think it was a case of Khabib maybe going, all right, I'm after proving for 2 rounds I can out wrestle you. Now
yeah.
I'm just going to strike with you. And he's
See
not
what
too
happens.
concerned of losing the round, really, because if he does lose a round, then he just goes back to wrestling the fourth and fifth. And then I'm sure, like, even when I practice out in the gym, wrestling isn't that. It's very taxing, like, it's not efficient. It's energy consuming. So he's probably just going, I'll take a little round off the wrestling, do a bit of striking, and see what I can come up with. And he seems to do all right each time, like, So yeah, I think he's the goat, like,
It's a shame, like he's been doing it his whole life, and it's a shame we don't have anything over here that's set into the school system with stuff like that, with wrestling or even boxing, even
Yeah, no, even
striking, but
anything, yeah, it'd be good.
just
Um,
summit.
yeah, a lot of the Eastern European countries, I know Poland and stuff like that. I think they had, like, taekwondo and stuff in their PE
Yeah,
system in primary schools, and it would just the talent pool. Then imagine, because what happens here in Ireland anyway. We There was figures for this set out a while ago, where somebody had some forecasted figures. I can't remember them, but like, Gaelic football in Ireland is like, it's like your religion, like, especially in rural Ireland, like, everybody plays for their local team. So we're probably losing our top percentile of athletes to Gaelic football,
yeah,
like, or hurling or something like that, and then even soccer, like, just regular football. So like, as you said, if there was martial arts implemented in the school education system, like we could get some of them top athletes at their young age. Now, I don't believe in kids specializing in sport too early on. I do think you should be multi-sport up to a particular age. But imagine even just giving them the raw basics
Yeah.
of a sport, like, of an art, and these like genetically really good athletes, and then seeing what you produce. Like now, like that's what happens over in Russia and some of them Eastern European countries because they're doing it from young age. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Both my lads do MMA. They absolutely love it. We're only three
Do
and
they? Yeah.
five. Yeah, we
No
do
way.
swimming, football, and MMA. And
That's brilliant.
he loves it. He watched a bit of Cage Warriors with me last night. He's only 5, and he wants to watch it. Do you know what I mean? So I can't really say no.
That's
His
brilliant.
mum's not too happy about it, but
I'd imagine so. What's your local gym?
12 gauge,
12
12
gauge.
gauge MMA. Yeah, it's
All right, yeah. Is there any
head
pro lads out
coach.
of there?
Head coach Matty Fort used to be pro. I don't think he fights anymore.
Right.
But yeah, my lad he does jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, and then we do like a general MMA class as well, which is a bit more of a grappling side and stuff like that. And he absolutely loves it. He was crying the other night because it's closed. He's actually crying because
No
it's closed
way.
down. He's only 5,
Here,
which it's weird
that's
because
so
I was never like that. I never got into stuff like that, and I've not really pushed him into this either. It's just something he's naturally wants to get into, which I think is pretty good.
that's deadly, yeah. It goes, and that's the main thing I think at the kids level. Like, some parents might want their child to do a particular sport. If they're loving it, if they're enjoying it, then that's half the battle. Like, once they're happy doing it, like they'll excel at it, like, and they'll give it their best. But like if they're being pushed into something, it's not going to be very enjoyable. Like,
Yeah, I don't agree with that because we do a bit of sparring for the juniors as well. It's obviously it's juniors, so they're not kicking 10 bells out of each other.
yeah,
It's pretty good sparring, and he's actually asked to start doing that, which I was quite surprised at because I thought he might have shied away from it. So I'm going to let him do that again. If he wants to do it, he can do it. If he doesn't, I know his mum will be more than happy that he doesn't do it.
that's it. Yeah, and now look, see how he gets on. Just like there's a few like we start the kids up in our taekwondo club at 4, like, and
Yeah,
4 to 6 year olds, we sort of just to do like a bit of body sparring and stuff like that. And then when they go 7, they start doing the full thing. And like that, some kids at the start, they're a little bit timid and they're not really too gone on it. And then give them a little while and they start to enjoy it. If they go to 1 or 2 competitions, take a medal, and they're loving it then, like, and
yeah,
then they start to, as we were talking about earlier on, they start to sort of figure their own little style out, what they like to do, what they don't like to do. And then that's just the start then. Let them start learning, and there's your next batch of superstars. Like,
yeah.
that's they are the future of any combat sport. Like, so it's good to see it from an early level. Like,
I'm still
Yeah.
trying to teach him about losing because he hates losing, even the
Oh,
little thing,
serious? Yeah,
even race up the stairs.
a bit of crack though.
Yeah, it must be great. All hell breaks loose if he loses. So I'm telling him, if he wants to start doing mixed martial arts and stuff, like, you're gonna lose. You need to lose to get better. He's not having it, but
That's competitions and stuff like that will really help that. Like, and that's why I know a lot of kids nowadays. Anyway, I think again there was numbers released on this. Something they do like an individual sport and a team sport. It's recommended to do
yeah,
both because, like,
having a brother, like you say, doing the same.
if he loses in a team, or if kids, let's say, and if they're very talented, if they lose in a team, in a football team, it's very easy to just point a finger and blame. Like,
Yeah,
but in an
good
individual
point.
sport, if they lose, they have to take the responsibility and they have to go, well, that was my fault because the other
Yeah,
guy was better and I wasn't good at this, and then just go back to the gym and fix that. So even from a non-sporting perspective, like the life lessons that I learned in both of them scenarios, and then when you win, in the team sport, you get to win as a team and celebrate as a team. So like it's brilliant, like, to experience both, as I said, for life lessons going forward. Like it's great for kids.
yeah, it's doing the football as well. But 12 gauge got a brilliant program on as well for the kids because we're doing it's a bit like homework, but not homework. We're doing, I think every 8 weeks we change it up. So at the minute it's about being courteous. So
Oh, very good.
every day he's got to say, if you open the door for someone, if you told your mum she looks nice today, and little things like that. Have you said hello to the lollipop lady, which I think is just brilliant. I think you're not going to get
Class,
that
yeah.
in any other sports, really, are you?
No, it's teaching them stuff for outside the gym and outside
Yeah,
the cage or ring or whatever. So that's stand to them tenfold down the line. It's brilliant.
yeah. Obviously, gym's closing. Are you going to be doing any online stuff or anything like that?
Yeah, actually. So I'm doing again for the taekwondo club. I'm doing a class on Monday. A fella I know, one of the local coaches, he's streaming stuff through his YouTube channel. Um, but like in terms of MMA and stuff like that, like I hadn't thought about doing anything, but I am streaming stuff. Come Monday now for some of the kids just to do a bit of training in the sitting room or whatever. Because I'd say, do you know what? I'd say, are you on lockdown yet over there? Are your kids still in school or what?
Kids have just been brought out now, so no school, no
Yeah.
gyms, no
That way over here for
pleasures.
9 days, like so you're
Oh,
just
have you?
going in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 9 days. So wait, it's today Saturday, yeah. So not Thursday gone, the Thursday before that, all the schools shut.
Right.
Um, all the schools shut down. So like I've been talking to a few of the parents, they're losing their minds, like because and the kids they can't even go on. They're not even supposed to go playing with each other either, like because they can't be in contact. So it's tough, like it's all ahead of you.
Yeah. Well, ours are going to be doing online with Matty at 12 at the gym. Like they're doing some online
Yeah.
stuff for him, which is good. I don't know what else we're going to be up to. There's only
Know each other so well, and like yeah. Have you got much garden space or anything like that?
Yeah, I got a big garden, so we're all right for that, which we're lucky. That is one lucky thing to have. I've got a big garden. We've been out in that today, and just don't know how long it's going to be. Is it going to be 3 weeks? Is it going to be 3 months? Is it going to be 6 months?
Having a clue. The cases, I know Italy are getting hockeyed out of it. They had like 6,000 new cases yesterday.
Yeah, it's bad
And
over there.
yeah, it's madness. Jeez,
Are you much of a drinker?
I would after a fight or like whenever I would have had a big competition, I'd always just let the hair down a bit, have a few drinks. But like I don't I don't go mad on it. Like well, when I'm over Christmas, I'll have a few like and enjoy myself. But usually throughout the year with training and fights, if I'm watching his fights, like I know what he's got. What about
Yeah.
yourself?
No, I had a snowball at Christmas.
Yeah,
Hardcore.
brilliant.
I had a whiskey the other night actually. Mrs. isn't coping well with all this shutdown stuff and everything that's going on. She's like, it's really getting to her. It's like, you know what? I'm having a drink. Stuff it.
All the pubs are closed down over here as well.
Yeah. The pub's just shut last night.
They,
It was the last night. Yeah.
yeah. So like that's a big step. Like when there's never been
Hey,
anything like that in
no.
Irish history anyway to have to shut the pubs. Like it's
Yeah,
mad.
it takes a lot for Ireland to shut the pubs down.
It's crazy. Yeah, nuts. But yeah, no, we'll have to see what happens anyway.
Yeah, it's crazy, mate. It's been on an hour now, so I will let you go and do your thing.
Just you know what, my battery is literally you have to notify me. There's only like 10%. So yeah,
All right. Well, I'll let you go. Much appreciate you coming speaking to me, mate. I hope everything goes well for you. I'm definitely going to look out for your first pro fight, and hopefully you change his venue. You might be able to do it in Manchester, so I can come and see you instead.
definitely, man. Yeah, appreciate that. I'm sure I'll find myself over there at some stage, but appreciate you getting me on and having a chat. I really enjoyed it, and best of luck with everything in the future. And I'm sure I'll bump into you again soon.
Yeah, same to you, mate. All the best, and good luck with everything.
Cheers. Nice one,
Thanks,
Danny.
man. You
Take
too,
it
mate.
easy. Bye
Take it easy,
bye.
buddy. Bye.